Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Cahill Camden is the CEO of Digital Vision Media, a company based in Canada. He's found it very useful to network through communities and groups where he likes to provide value, for example by answering people's questions. And he says that networking has made a massive difference to his company. Thank you very much for joining me on the podcast, Cahill.
Thanks for having me on.
Now, your current business helps companies to grow through content marketing and lead generation, but is marketing an area that you've always worked in?
I actually started in sales. So I started it at a company that was similar to the Wolf of Wall Street. So very intense sales culture, really just hammering the phones. And from there, I moved into marketing. I wanted to figure out, okay, how do I apply these sales tactics and insights that I've learned into more mass market appeal?
And so what was it about marketing that particularly attracted you?
The kind of one-to-many approach, right? So this is something that I always thought was very interesting, is how do you convince many people to do something at once?
And when did you become the MD of the company you're MD of now, Digital Vision Media Group?
Yeah, so I started that company. So I originally started out, after I left sales, I started doing a number of contracting pieces for different companies. And then I started accelerating that and getting more clients. And then I started building basically a boutique agency. And so that's how Digital Vision Media Group started.
And how have you grown since then?
Well, we've grown in a couple of ways. We've grown we attempted to do many different things under the marketing umbrella. So becoming a full service agency, that wasn't really for us. And I always say, like, there's a number of things that we're okay at. There's a number of things that we're good at. And then there's some things that we're really great at. And over the years, we've focused on those things that we're really great at. And we've just either outsourced or partnered with other companies and agencies that do the rest. And so that's one way that we've grown. We've grown to do a number of services, and then we've niched it back down. And then we also shifted our direction from doing marketing services for multiple industries to almost exclusively Web3. So Web3, think blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, digital assets, NFTs, that type of thing, and some cutting edge technology companies. So this is where our primary focus is now.
And how do you find your clients, or how do they find you?
A couple of ways. One is through communities. So I'm a part of multiple communities, and I do quite a bit of networking. Well, I'm starting to do quite a bit of networking now for in the Web3 communities, and providing value in the communities, and then connecting with people in real life and on virtual calls, etc. And also referrals has been a big part of our business.
Mm-hmm. So let's chat about the things that you're really great at. What is it that you do for your clients?
So the thing that we do, or that I really focus on, is marketing and growth strategy. So that is something that we do really, really well. And we come into a company and we figure out, okay, what are they doing? How are things operating right now? What are the kind of metrics? And then we really streamline that process so that whether it's working with their team, other contractors or freelancers, agencies, our own agency, etc., we have a very clear direction on how we're going to progress forward, how we're going to evaluate metrics, how we're going to pivot when necessary, and go forward from there. So this is what I would call fractional CMO work, and that's something that I do. I do personally. I do quite a lot of that. And then our agency is very good at content marketing and PR, and so those two things kind of go hand in hand, because it's really about storytelling. And so we build like really fantastic stories, narratives. We call them story arcs on what should a company be talking about, how are they going to position themselves in the market, and then we push that out there. So content marketing and PR, and then naturally with the PR side of things, part of that just spanned out into paid media. And so that's something that we're very good at as well. So we just focus on those three things: content marketing, PR, paid media as an agency, and then I personally do the fractional CMO work. So that's the overall strategy.
Now, you've mentioned the kinds of industries that you like to work with, but what kind of business size do you work with? Are they really large multinational companies?
So we have worked with some large multinational companies, but I would say our ideal client, our ideal customer, is someone who has raised a bit of venture capital funding, so or they're in a revenue range between, let's call it, $1 to $30 million a year, and that's typically our sweet spot. And so it's this concept of, okay, how do you 5-10x your company in a very short period of time, and really grow to the next level. And so I've helped do that with a number of companies that have gone on to be acquired. And so, for example, one of our clients where I was fractional CMO and also an advisor to that company, I started when they had 6 or 7 people. And so it's it was a small company. They had raised just over $1 million, and we grew that company, and they had a very successful 8-figure exit. And so those are the types of companies that I will work with. It's the company who really wants to see fast growth, who's in that revenue range of 1 to 30 million.
And how important is it for a business to have a marketing strategy? And is it something that even really micro businesses need?
I think absolutely. Now, does it have to be complicated? No. But strategy, the marketing strategy is important because, and I was actually just writing an article about this, but the thing that all businesses are going to run into is an abundance of opportunity. And there are always going to be examples of companies or businesses or friends or competitors who have been successful in some type of marketing tactic or some type of marketing channel. And so what ends up happening, and this is something that I see with a lot of the clients that I work with, is they think they need to be everywhere at once at the same time. And having a strategy really helps you cut that down and really focus on, okay, what are the things that we're really going to go for, we're really good at, or we think we're really good at, versus the things that, maybe it's okay, and maybe we should do that eventually, but it's not that great, or maybe it's okay. And, we've got to figure out, we've got to cut the really great things from the good things. And that's really difficult, I think. Because it's hard. It's hard to say, no, you know what? We're not going to be on XYZ social media platform right now because we just don't have the staff.
Yeah.
We don't have the time. We don't have the money. And so we have to focus on this other tactic. And maybe we do that for 3 months, and we'll evaluate it over those 3 months, and we then establish some type of metric or key performance indicator that we decide to change at the end of that 3 months if we see these types of results. That's strategy. And so you need to have those things in place to really accelerate growth, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's really easy, isn't it, to be distracted by shiny objects and think, oh, that's the latest thing, I should be doing that for my business.
100%. And we all fall into this, whether it's, the coolest, latest, hot topic of the day, AI, ChatGPT, whether it's Instagram Reels or Shorts, or whether it's YouTube Shorts, or whether it's TikTok. It's like there's so many things. And so I think it's just very important to have a strategy. And again, that strategy is not written in stone. You can change it, but at least you have a clear direction on where you're going. how you're going to get there, and also how you're going to evaluate success or failure and pivot.
Yeah. And talking of pivoting, how was the pandemic for you?
In terms of what?
In terms of your business, did it change your business at all?
Not at all. So our team has been remote for the last 6 years. So far before the pandemic, far before lockdowns. Our clients are international, primarily in the United States. We had some clients in the UK, Canada as well. And so for us, it really didn't make a difference at all.
Did it make a difference to some of the clients that you were dealing with?
And no, because primarily we're dealing with, primarily we're 100% dealing with Web3 and technology companies. Mm-hmm. And so their teams are also primarily distributed, especially in the Web3 world, right? And so for us, it didn't change anything. Like, our business actually picked up.
That's good to hear. Now, I noticed from your LinkedIn profile that you're an official member of the Forbes Business Council. What does that entail?
So that allows me to publish articles on Forbes and to network with other members who are part of that community.
And that must be really good networking, I should think.
It is okay. Yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's great just yet. I haven't really experienced that, but it is good to be able to share your thoughts and insights on Forbes itself. So I just published an article recently about building trust and finding trust in an AI generated world. And so this is a topic that we're looking at, because one of our ventures is an AI powered press tool called Press Jockey. And so, because I'm in this space and because I've been investing in this venture and we've been building it for the last year, this is something that I'm concerned about. And so it's nice to be able to publish your thoughts on Forbes.
Yeah. And what do you think that your small business owners in particular should be looking at in terms of AI? Should they be concerned about it?
They should definitely be paying attention to it and trying to learn as much of it as possible right now. I think AI is going to shift almost everyone's business tremendously. So right now, this is the proverbial tip of the iceberg. There is so much change is about to happen in the next 12 to 18 months. I just, for example, yesterday saw the first video commercial entirely produced by AI. And, the fingers were off and it was about pizza, and the pizza slices were a little bit not right. And, some people were kind of walking through doors, but this was entirely produced. The sound, the script, the video, everything. There were no humans involved. Yeah. And so this is the start of, wait till it gets to version 3, 4, 5, and that's going to shift everything.
Yeah, I think so. Now, you're also a best-selling author. Tell me about the book that you've written.
Oh, yeah. So I wrote a book called What is Cryptocurrency? It's called Decoding Digital, What is Cryptocurrency? It can be found on Amazon. And I wrote the book at a time when, Bitcoin had really gone on its massive bull run, and I had tons of friends and family members asking me, "Oh, should I invest? Should I invest?" And I said, "It's complicated." And they all said, "Well, what do you mean?" And I was like, "Oh gosh, here we go." And so I said, "You know what? Let me do my best to share insights in an easily digestible manner that people can get into, so that they can get an understanding of the basics of cryptocurrency and the market." And so that's the book that I wrote about. And
And so who is the book aimed at? Is it just sort of the general public, or is it for business owners?
It is aimed at the general public who is looking to get an understanding of cryptocurrency. So, these terms get thrown around all the time. Bitcoin, Ethereum, cryptocurrency, and then you'll hear things about blockchain and blockchain technology and bull markets and bear markets, and you hear all these terms. And I think it's important for any person, any small business owner, to really understand how to make and preserve their wealth as they start to grow it, regardless of whether you have $100, $1,000, $100,000, $1 million. Like it doesn't matter. I think it's important to understand the finances of money, and so cryptocurrency falls into that realm. And so that was my area in which I was focused, and I wanted people to understand it. So it's really for anyone who's looking to get a better handle on the cryptocurrency space.
So let's turn to networking now then. So how do you use networking for your business?
I network because my industry is a combination of conferences and digital. I use networking in a lot of communities and groups that I'm a part of. And so for me, it's providing value in those communities and groups, through answering questions, through providing content, through helping people get ideas and insights. And then that often leads to virtual networking or Zoom calls, Google Meets calls, those types of things. And then it will also often lead to, starting to lead to in real life type of meetups and connections. And so, for example, I'm down here in New York City right now and have had the pleasure and the fortune to run into clients and then connect with them and meet other people at different conferences like NFT NYC. And that's how I leverage the networks. So digital first, and then leading into real life second.
And what sort of difference do you think networking makes for your business?
Huge difference. I think part of it, so any small business owner is looking at, well, how do I get more leads into my business? How do I get more clients? How do I get more sales? And I think part of that is, again, going back to this marketing strategy. What is the best traction channel for your business? Well, that is going to depend on your audience. That is going to depend on your business, your product service offering. It's also going to depend on you. Like, do you like doing video? Do you like being on Twitter and social media? Do you like networking? Do you like being at conferences, doing speaking engagements? Like, what do you like? And I think the best one of the best traction channels is a traction channel that you love to do because you're going to do it more often and frequently. And so for me, networking is a very important piece of that. I do it in a slightly different way. Remember, I came from a sales background. So to me, cold calling and just jumping on the phones, like, I like that. I really enjoy that. Translating that as well into the online world, connecting with people online is very similar to that type of sales. And so for me, even though it's not sales, just having those conversations is really important. Same with being in a community where I can share my thoughts and ideas. Again, remember, my agency creates content. We build story arcs and narratives. We do PR. So the written word is, and the spoken word is, something that I'm very good at and I like doing. So translate that to a community. I'm happy to share insights, provide feedback, answer questions a lot, because think about that as like mini articles. Great. That's my traction channel of choice, So I think that answers your question.
Yeah. And so why would you recommend networking to other business owners, particularly small business owners?
I think it's important to get a gauge and a sense of your audience and to engage with them in a way that gives you feedback about your product and service and also allows you to get connected to potential clients that are going to be good for you. And so without that feedback, you won't have the ability to pivot your other marketing areas, I think. And so I think that that's very important.
Yeah. And presumably you would recommend that networking is part of your marketing strategy.
It is, and it's becoming more so. So, it's like the what it was the kind of analogy. Website designers that don't have the best websites themselves because they're just focused on clients. This is kind of similar to us. Like, we are a boutique agency, so I'm not trying to make it into like 100-person company or something like that. So, when we're busy, we're quite busy, and we haven't spent as much time building our own marketing strategies because we've been getting referrals, and like we work on long contracts with clients. So it is becoming more of a focal point for us, 100%. How do we find the right groups that we want to participate in, that we want to provide value to? How do we schedule regular just networking calls? It doesn't have to be a sales call. It's just a regular networking call, especially when people are distributed around the world. They're all over the place. It's great. Like, I can't fly around everywhere. So let's just jump on a call and let's connect. And a lot of those connections will go nowhere, but some will go somewhere. And those are the ones that, we know will come.
Yeah. So just finally then, Cahill, if people want to contact you and find out more about you and about Digital Vision Media, what's the best place for them to find you?
So I'm on Twitter, Cahill at Cahill_Camden, and people can also connect with me on the digitalvision.io website. So that's digitalvision.io. And so that's the website, our site for our agency and my fractional CMO work.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for being my guest. It's been really interesting to find out about you and about your business. And it's lovely to have somebody from overseas, because you're based in Canada, usually, I believe. I know you're in New York today.
Yes, I'm typically based in Canada, but I'm in New York for a few months.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about the internet, isn't it? We can connect with people
Absolutely.
all over the world and grow our
Absolutely.
network.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being my guest.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.